Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talking About Balls Night 2 Draft Special. I am here with my father-in-law who decided to remain out of camera. He is not interested. But we are live here in my den. We are watching round 2. I'm only doing this. I wasn't supposed to go live for both nights, but because of the power outage yesterday, I wasn't able to get started until about 9:30, so I missed the Browns trade. I missed the Browns pick of Mason Graham. And the whole reason I wanted to do this is because I'm home this weekend. Normally I would be at the draft, but Green Bay was a logistical nightmare. So decided to do this from my house, and I wanted to give live reactions and feedback for a Browns draft pick, and I wasn't able to do that yesterday because of First Energy. So thank you to them for screwing up the electricity. But with that being said, the Browns did make a trade. They are picking 33rd and 36th tentatively. Of course, there is reason to believe they're going to be trying to trade one of these picks to slide back a little bit or to acquire an extra pick for next year. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, they have the 33rd overall pick. Gun to my head, they're not taking a quarterback. They're not especially taking Shedeur Sanders. I believe the trade yesterday kind of solidified their plan for 2026 is to get a quarterback in a much better draft class. So, gun to my head, if I had to make a pick here, it's really hard for me to know who they're going to take. Nick Manowari is a guy that I've really told people to look out for. He was a perfect Barry pick. He scored a 10 on the RAS relative athletic score, which is great. Barry looks at that. It's analytically driven. And then he is also under the age of 22, which is a perfect fit for Andrew Berry. So, with that being said, will they take him? I don't know. Safety is a position of need, and Nick Manowari is a perfect player who I projected to go in the first round, and he did not. So, very possible they could take him here. But again, it's a crapshoot. The Browns have a lot of holes. It really just depends on their draft board. So, I'm looking here at wide receiver. I'm looking at defensive players, whether it's a corner, whether it's a safety. There's some good ones available. Will Johnson's there from Michigan, but he does have that lingering knee issue. We don't know what that's going to be like for his future. And then there is, of course, some good defensive linemen. There is Mike Green out of Marshall. Stud of a player. I had him projected to go very early in the first round until I did not know until today that he has some sexual assault allegations that have followed him from high school and into college. He had a second one. So he's a troubled young man. He went to Virginia, transferred to Marshall, played there for 1 year, but again, has multiple sexual assault allegations. Probably not a guy you want on your team when you already have Deshaun Watson. So with that being said, I think it's safe to say we're going to cross Mike Green off the list, but the Browns are officially on the clock. They have 7 minutes to make their pick. Andrew Berry does not look like he's ready to make a phone call, so that makes me think maybe they're going to trade. And there's Paul DePodesta. If you guys are watching NFL Network, there's Kevin Stefanski, Jimmy Haslam, Andrew Berry, and Paul DePodesta. Paul DePodesta was nice enough to fly in from sunny San Diego to do nothing. He gets a paycheck to sit on the beach. I hate him, and I cannot wait until he's no longer an employee of the Cleveland Browns. But nothing I can do about it right now.
So they had all night to think about this. Why didn't they have their pick ready yet? What the hell?
Because they're making those phone calls to trade. That's what they're doing right now.
Phone.
So they already have the calls. They're waiting. So the Browns are officially on the clock. There's a lot of rumors they're going to trade this pick. Again, I do not believe they're going to take a quarterback. As you see the list, if you're watching NFL Network, Nick Manowari is the number one remaining player. Will Johnson is right there with that injury. Shedeur Sanders, I don't think they're taking. Mike Green, again, some red flags off the field. Then you have Marcus Taylor. I really like Marcus Taylor. That would be a good pick for the Browns here. David Njoku is tight end number 1. The Browns offense uses multiple tight ends. And Taylor is son of Jason Taylor, for those of you that didn't know, the Akron standout who went on to have a pro Hall of Fame career for the Miami Dolphins. But we could use a backup tight end. David Njoku is in the final year of his contract. He's not getting any younger, and we don't have really any backup tight ends. They could go running back here because they do need running back help. Will they do that? I don't think so. I don't think Andrew Berry really values the running backs very high. Also, I have my official Cleveland Browns draft drink, the Aperol Spritz. It is orange, just like the Browns, so hopefully it brings us some luck here.
I don't see them on the phone.
No, I think they might be making a pick here. Drink them if you got them, everybody.
How many people does it take to tell? What are you doing?
Let's see what happens. I actually know that lady. I don't know her, but I'm familiar with that lady. She's from Britain, or from England. She runs the British Browns backers Facebook page that I'm a member of. I recognize her face because she's the administrator of it. Let's see. Let me check social media and see if I got any leaks. There was a guy yesterday who was giving me the giving out the picks pretty early, so I knew about all the trades and the picks and everything well in advance. Let me see here. Let's scroll all the way up, and I got nothing. Let's see.
Maybe they should just pick a cheerleader.
Hey, you never know. At this point, pretty much every player we draft becomes a cheerleader because they come here, they get hurt, they don't play, they get benched, whatever the case may be, and then they're glorified cheerleaders.
Sometimes they work better in other places. So.
Let's see what happens here. The Browns I think they made their pick. They're not showing the time. They're not showing the countdown anymore. So let's see. The pick is in. It's officially in. And Roger Goodell will come to the stage to announce the pick unless I see it here on social media. But the Browns have selected with this pick. Now, mind you, they did do a lot of research on these quarterbacks. They went to Colorado to interview Shedeur Sanders. They had him come in for a team visit. They took him out to dinner. They're now on the phone. They're calling their player. They're clapping. Jimmy Haslam. We'll see what happens here. I'm not going to lie. I'm nervous. I have no idea what to expect here. I really hope it's not Sanders. Let me see. I'm getting some texts.
Please no.
A lot of people think it could be Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama.
What else is he supposed to say?
I really hope it's not Jalen Milroe if that's the case. I don't love that if that's him. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Joe Thomas is there.
There he is.
Yeah, he really slimmed down after he retired, which good for him because that is a tough body to maintain when you're a football player and you're eating and you're trying to remain a healthy 300 pounds.
Unfortunately, he looks a little bit like what's his name from Pittsburgh, the head coach, the old guy.
Bill Cowher. Here we go. The linebacker out of UCLA. Okay, I had Schlesinger on my list of guys to look out for.
We need a linebacker.
I mean, my father-in-law and I were talking before the game. We said we need a linebacker. Carson Schlesinger is the number one linebacker remaining in this draft class. I didn't think they'd go for him. I really didn't see that pick coming because Andrew Berry doesn't value linebackers. But to me, this screams, and it's unfortunate, that means that JOK is done. That's what that means.
We were soft in the middle.
Yeah, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was our best linebacker, and he suffered that neck injury that people are in fear of, that it could be a career-ending injury. And he showed up to the facility this week for mini camp and voluntary camp, but there's no word on if he can even play, if he's medically cleared. To me, this kind of screams that he's not going to be able to play. That's my takeaway. Let's take a look here. I was telling you guys yesterday about Jack Duffin on 24/7 Sports, and we're going to take a look at his board. I did not have Schlesinger on there because I believe he was a little older. So let me try to find that. Give me 1 second here, everybody. Bear with me as I look for it. And, of course, it's not showing up on what I needed. I will try that again. Let's look up Jack Duffin, 24/7 Sports. Browns fans, let me know your thoughts on the pick here. We got ourselves a linebacker with the 33rd overall pick. He is, again, he's the best linebacker available. He's a good player.
Oh, I said that 2 years ago. We don't need linebackers.
And, I mean, they signed a couple guys in the offseason. They brought back Devin Bush, I believe. They don't normally put a lot of stock into this position. So that's a shocking one for me, if I'm being honest. But let's take a look here. We got linebackers. I'm looking at Jack Duffin's official board that he did. He does all the research here for their RAS scores and their age. And I believe, yeah, we had so he had Carson Schlesinger blocked off, but he was a round 2 prospect. But the only reason he had him blocked off is because Carson Schlesinger is a little over 22 years old. So it's only because of his age. So apparently the Browns really like him, and they're not worried about the age. I liked him. I really would have liked the Browns to have gotten him, so that's very upsetting. He's 6'4". I wanted him when he was my top wide receiver because the only guys available now are very short. They're about 6 feet tall each. Luther Burden is 6 feet tall. He's a slot receiver. And then there is there's another one. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but Higgins was a guy who I liked at 6'4". But I also have to be realistic because the Browns do have Jerry Jeudy. They do have Cedric Tillman. Both of them are 6 foot plus. They're 1s and 2s. So we do need a slot receiver. So Luther Burden with the Browns pick would make sense with our next one if they want to take an offensive player. The Seattle Seahawks traded up here. Who are they going after? No, again, they just traded for Geno Smith. I really don't see that. They took an offensive lineman. They needed offensive line help. Their secondary is not the greatest. This could be for Will Johnson. That would make sense. But we'll have to wait and see here. I don't know. I'm still processing the Schlesinger pick. He's a good linebacker. Again, I just didn't think they put a lot of stock into linebacker, so this one's a shocking pick for me. This was not a position I expected to be taken in the second round.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but they've been so soft in the middle the past 2 years.
Absolutely, but again, that's by design. They don't like him. They took JOK. He was a second round pick a couple years ago, and he turned out to be a stud. Again, he just suffered a bad neck injury, but other than that, he was a stud linebacker, Pro Bowler, etc. But now I honestly, this makes me really think that he's done. Yeah, everyone's tweeting now that they're saying that means JOK is probably done.
Him and Deshaun can go on an island somewhere or something.
Yeah.
Enjoy his money, you know.
Browns select Carson Schlesinger to start off day 2. Yep. The Seahawks have traded picks number 52 and 82 to get to pick number 35. So that's actually not that bad.
They must see somebody out there.
Yeah, there's somebody that they were worried is not going to make it to them at 52.
What side of the ball do you think they're going to pick? Offense or defense?
At this point, they've used 2 picks on defense, so I'd have to think offense. But at the same time, you don't draft for need. You always try to go best player available. So you follow your board. And if there's a player that's available that's not, again, somebody that's a desperate need, but he's a great player you have highly valued, you take him. And I kind of feel like that's what they did here with Schlesinger. I think he would have been a second-round pick regardless, but again, I just didn't see it being a Browns pick. He was not a player that I expected Andrew Berry to go after. So Seattle has taken. The Browns are back on the clock. That did not take long. So we'll see what happens here if they stay with the pick, if they trade back. I mean, we need linebackers. Our linebacker group stunk. And, my father-in-law were here talking about it before this draft started. Our defense was really bad last year. So getting defensive help, you're stopping. Our biggest flaw last year was our running defense. We couldn't stop the run. So now we get a linebacker who can stop the run, and we get a defensive tackle who can help stop the run. So the Browns, again, it's not the pick that's going to blow you away and make you think like we're going to win a Super Bowl. But these are key players that I feel like in the future you're going to look back and go, yeah, those guys are actually really good. I'm glad we took them. So see what happens. And Seattle's pick is in. They'll be making this selection officially here in a minute. And then I will likely I will stay live depending on if anyone trades. I'll stay live until after the Jets pick because my buddies are Jets fans, so I want to dissect their pick and tell them how shitty it is because I already know it's going to be a bad pick. So I'm going to stay on for the Jets pick, which is only a few after Cleveland here, and then I'll be calling it a night so I can sit back and actually enjoy the draft.
You watch the Vikings Sanders.
I mean, they might. They have Justin Fields. Justin Fields is not a long-term answer, in my opinion. He was a very curious signing by the Jets in the offseason.
To celebrate the occasion because, as folks here know, as they're going to be going to the Bears tonight, nothing brings communities together quite like a top-notch rivalry. Congratulations, you're on the clock, and tonight you'll be chosen into an NFL rivalry.
They're taking a long time to set it.
Yeah, they really stretched this out.
They got the Browns in pretty fast.
Yeah, Thursday and Friday night, they really try to stretch it out a little bit because they want viewers. Tomorrow, they'll be ripping through it. Tomorrow, it's funny because they'll be in the middle of having guys talk, and they'll just pop the name up on the bottom and be like, all right, they took this guy. They don't have anyone coming to the stage or do anything like that. So they go a lot faster on day 3. But for whatever reason, day 2, the NFL wants people watching, and they want the viewers. So let's see. I gotta make some bets tonight, everybody. What's everybody betting on? I gotta keep going. I did not win.
Geno Smith to the Raiders. What was that last?
That was in the offseason, yeah. So that's when Geno Smith went to Vegas, but they signed Sam Darnold. So they have their quarterback. They signed him to a 3-year, $100 million deal. So here we go. Richard Sherman to announce the Seattle Seahawks selection. Let's hear it. Of course, he's going to lollygag and take his time as if people give a shit about him being up there. Especially in Green Bay. They're booing the hell out of him.
No comment.
With the 35th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Nick Emmanwori.
Damn it, my safety. Damn it, Nick Emmanwori. I really liked him. That's annoying as hell.
They were afraid Cleveland was going to take him, and they did, so. Yeah, we could use him too.
Damn it, I really liked him. Damn it, that sucks. When there's a player you really like and they get taken a couple picks before the pick before your team, so that makes me think that's why they traded up because the Browns were going to take him. So Seattle had to jump ahead of the Browns. So that's exactly what that tells me there. That 100% makes me think that, which sucks. It makes me wonder if they should have just taken him at 33 because I feel like Schlesinger would have been there at 36.
Unless they saw such a big hole in linebackers, they we got to.
Well, now the Browns are back on the clock. The Browns have made their selection, I believe. They're not showing the timer, so I am assuming the pick is in. NFL Network's really struggling with their coverage tonight of keeping everything up to date. They're starting to fall behind. Okay, I have the Browns pick. Cleveland Browns have selected. Do you want to hear it, Mike? I got a spoiler.
Yeah.
They selected Quinshon Judkins, the running back out of Ohio State.
Running back, there you go. I told you we didn't, but you said maybe later. But
I wasn't sure, but again, after they took a linebacker,
well, they probably were, like you said, if the safety would have been.
I think they were taking him.
Yes, but now it's like, okay, well, I know you like Ford, but I'm not crazy about it. I don't know.
This is going to make Browns fans very happy now. They're all going to be very excited. Joe Thomas making this announcement here. Shocking to see Judkins go ahead of Travion Henderson, who was expected to be the top Ohio State running back drafted. But Judkins fits our offense. He's an up the middle pounder. He's a little bit more what we want in a running back. He's similar to Kareem Hunt. As you see here, vision, balance. He's a closer. He goes up the middle, though. That's more what we need than TreVeyon Henderson, who's a speed guy. So I like the pick. I really wasn't sure about how Andrew Berry would feel about running backs, and I wasn't positive on if they were going to take one today. I figured we'd get one, but maybe round 3, maybe round 4 or 5, et cetera. But I like the pick. Browns fans have been bitching for the last 24 hours about who's going to score touchdowns. Here you go. We got a guy that can find the end zone. You got yourself an offensive weapon. So Browns fans can only be happy now. We got a running back. He's an Ohio State running back. Done.
He closed out that Penn State game. And what I like about him last year was he was very team-oriented. When he transferred from Ole Miss, part of that
I like to hear
was that
you.
he wanted to share the role with
Yeah, he's got some dreads on him.
Him and, what's the tight end there?
David Njoku, it's very similar hair.
his first couple of years. I mean, a ton of touches. He led college football. And so he wanted a little of that responsibility to be shared. And he got that with TreVeyon Henderson. I thought that they would have had a better year as runners if that offensive line would have stayed healthy with Josh Simmons, the left tackle, but it didn't. And he got better and better.
All right, Browns fans, you officially got yourself an Ohio State Buckeye, so please shut the hell up. We are not drafting Will Howard, I don't think. Maybe tomorrow, but yeah, we got a Michigan guy, we got an Ohio State guy. Last year they took an Ohio State guy in the second round in Michael Hall. So we are just battling of the Big Ten. That's all we have going on for us. So they are happy with that pick. Jimmy Haslam looks like he's sitting in a dirty diaper right now. He looks kind of pissed. But I like that pick. He fits our offense. We need a running back. Jerome Ford sucks. Robert, what do you think of that pick, man? I'm sure you Ohio State guys. Everybody's pumped up for that.
I thought D was the major holder. No.
D. Haslam?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure she's there. She's just in the background.
Didn't he have to sell? Maybe not. Didn't he have to sell to D
for the Pilot Flying J? Yeah, I think he had to make her like the official owner or whatever. He stepped away after all the allegations and stuff like that. But
is he back in as official?
I mean, I'm sure she's technically in charge, but he's calling the shots. It's dirty. Come on, you know that. It's like the mob. He's like, oh no, I'm retiring. I had nothing to do with it. It's in my wife's name. But I have a feeling she's not attending any meeting or making any decision.
Well, I think she picked Flacco. I mean,
that's what they say. They said she had the hots for Flacco, but look at what she's married to. I mean, can you blame her? She's married to the Crypt Keeper, for God's sake. So anybody looks better than him. Robert, I agree. It's a good pick. He fits our offense really well. He's a better runner that can go up the middle. He'll go through the tackles instead of bouncing to the outside. We need people that can find the end zone. So here we go. Here's our run on offensive players. They drafted a linebacker and a defensive tackle 1 and 2. Now 3, they get a running back. I wouldn't be surprised if in the 4th round or 3rd round here tonight, they go after a wide receiver, maybe some offensive lineman, a tight end. You never know. Henderson's got great hands. Does not fumble. That's a key. He had a great 40 time. He doesn't fumble the ball. And he's a punisher. He can go right through the tackles. I love the pick. I'm very happy about that as a Browns fan. Raiders traded out. Okay, yeah, Raiders were supposed to pick here. Raiders traded back. They trade away 37th overall, 143rd overall, and they receive 48, 98, 135. So nice little haul there for the Raiders, who are a team that did not have a 3rd-round pick because they traded theirs for Geno Smith. So that's a good move for them. And they're only dropping back 11 spots. So not terrible at all.
So here comes the Miami Dolphins pick. A Wisconsin Badger coming up.
All right, we got a trade here. The Las Vegas Raiders have traded the 37th pick to the Miami Dolphins.
Here we go with the Miami Dolphins pick, everybody.
Being said, the 37th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select
Jonah Savaianaga, the offensive guard from Arizona. He was the guy I had on the Browns list for the 3rd round. I believe I had him in the 3rd round. Let me take a look at it. I read all these names to you guys the other day. So, no, I had him for the 2nd round. He was on my list. So I had Josh Connerly Jr., Jonah Saviana, Mason Taylor, Quinshon Judkins. I had Judkins on my list, actually. So I nailed that one. Now that I'm thinking about it, I forgot. So that's a point for me, Kyle.
As the Dolphins like to do. And so Alec Ingold just introduced a new teammate who's going to block for him. Pretty neat stuff right there. So the Dolphins just traded up and are now celebrating their newest Miami Dolphin. The Patriots are on the clock. Then the Bears choose twice with the Saints in between. WWE superstar Seth Rollins, I think, is about to cut a promo for the Bears here in Green Bay.
All right, good pick there for the Browns. You want Luther Burden, Robert? Take it for what you will. I don't know if it's an agent move or a team doing something to try to make him fall a little bit. But some rumors came out, some stories came out that Luther Burden does not love football. There's concerns about him and his passion for football, so that's why he's sliding a little bit. But I wouldn't hate it, depending on where we got him. Depending if we do trade back into the second round to get him, depends on what we have to give up. Julie says, I watched draft day last night and slept on it. I'm thrilled about Mason Graham and a first-round pick next year and just picking Judson, so absolutely. So far, again, it's Browns fans don't want to hear it, but I feel like what they're doing is they are preparing for next year. They're building the trenches. We got an offensive lineman, a defensive tackle. We got a linebacker. We got a running back. We're not getting the flashy picks. We're getting good players that are going to come in and contribute this year, help. And then next year, when you assumingly get your quarterback of the future, you're ready to roll. You're going to have a really good team already in place. You're letting your linebacker get a year under his belt in the NFL. You're letting your new defensive tackle get a year under his belt. You're going to have hopefully a great running back in Judkins. Unfortunately for Browns fans, I know a lot of people, I still, to this day, on Easter Sunday, I was talking with my brother-in-law who was asking me, why haven't they signed Nick Chubb back? And I said, Nick Chubb is cooked. He had back-to-back season-ending injuries, and he's just not good anymore. I'm sorry. I'd love Nick Chubb to be great. I would love for him to have finished his career as a Cleveland Brown and to have been, arguably the best running back in team history, which is hard to top Jim Brown, but up there. Injuries happen. It's just part of the game. It's unfortunate. I'm going to miss Nick Chubb, but I don't think Nick Chubb is in the future. And Quinshon Judkins drafted here in the number 36, to me, proves that. Yeah, Robert, I know it's tough for everybody to agree with me, but I'm right more often than not, my friend. You should know that by now. We've been talking sports for years, so you should know that. I know my shit. Let me switch this here. Hopefully I don't screw this up. Nope, I screwed it up. See what I can do. That's going to put me there. Can I move this? No, I can't. All right. GCU was able to give me all the help and support I needed. There we go. That's much better. My picture was so damn small in the corner over there. I was by myself. So, yeah. Quinshon Judkins is officially a Cleveland Brown. I really would have wanted Nick Manawari there, to be honest. He was my guy. But it is what it is. Can't win them all. But we did get help on defense, linebacker core. Again, this is sad because these two picks, in my opinion, mean you have officially lost two beloved players in Cleveland in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and Nick Chubb. Both of which, Nick Chubb is obviously a free agent coming off an injury. No one signed him yet. I don't think that's going to change anything for Cleveland. JOK is under contract with the Cleveland Browns, but he suffered a pretty devastating neck injury last year, and immediately there were concerns that it's going to cost him his career, which you never want to say or you never want to hear that or see that. But this selection here of another linebacker with the pick number 33, which is, again, it's a glorified first-round pick, leads me to believe that JOK is probably done. Maybe not. Maybe, our linebacking room is shitty regardless, so he could just be there to replace one of these guys we have here under a one-year contract. We'll see. But I don't know. The pick is in for the New England Patriots here. Round 2, pick number 38. We'll see what they say. They're going to have some ex-player come out on the stage. They're going to take their time. It's going to be a whole to-do, and nobody cares, but they're going to do it anyway. Yeah, the NFL, they are very good at doing this kind of stuff. Make it last as long as possible. If you're out there, everybody, again, drink them if you got them. Aperol Spritz, going orange for the Browns. Made one for my father-in-law. He actually likes it. He's a big beer guy. He's a fan. So they're good. They're a good summer drink if you ever had one. I recommend it. I also had, in case we took a quarterback for pretend celebration, because I didn't like any of these quarterbacks, I had a buzzball ready to go. But in my opinion, Quinshon Judkins and Schlesinger, linebacker, are not worthy of a buzzball. So I'm gonna reserve that for. I've decided I'm doing. If you're a fan of talking about balls, and if you're a fan of doing the talking about buzzballs, I am going to be doing buzzballs after every round win for the Cavaliers. So assuming they beat the Heat in 4 or 5 games, pounding a buzzball. I'll be filming it, putting it on TikTok. So we'll go for that. He better suck it up. Yeah, Robert, I hope, but a neck injury that could potentially paralyze you is a little more than sucking it up. He's not out with a hamstring injury or a stubbed toe. A possible broken neck is pretty severe. I wish it weren't the case. I love JOK. I know Kyle does too. He's an ex-Notre Dame alumni. I got Kyle Notre Dame JOK autographs and stuff like that. And then Mike, you want to hop on?
No,
you want to give your thoughts on the draft so far? Nothing.
Nothing.
All right.
I always said though we need linebackers. I did say that.
Yes, we talked about that literally an hour ago. Robert's predicting that Luther Burden is the pick here for the Patriots, which, I mean, they need wide receivers. They were a team that was trying to trade up to get to Travis Hunter. They just must not have offered enough. TreVeyon Henderson back-to-back Ohio. Well, not back-to-back, but Ohio State Buckeyes.
There you go.
Ohio State Buckeye running backs are drafted early in the second round as predicted. But again, TreVeyon Henderson was expected to go a little higher. But again, it's all about fit. It's all about fit. TreVeyon Henderson was not a good fit for the Browns. He is he's a home run hitter. He reminds people of Clinton Portis. Not what we need right now. The Patriots could definitely use that. They have Ramondre Stevenson. So he's a better fit for the Patriots. For us, Quinshon Judkins comes in and he's our number 1 running back. No questions asked. He's better than Jerome Ford, and that's pretty much all we have on the roster right now. So he is our official running back 1. So you have that taken care of, and assuming he's a good, lives up to the hype and what you expect him to be, then we are good for the future. You have your running back for the next probably 4 years. Wouldn't expect a contract extension for a running back, but you never know in this day and age. The NFL stands for not for long, as I tell everybody. Your career could come and go quickly. Just ask Nick Chubb. So great picks for both teams. I think both of these guys are going to fit really well. You have TreVeyon Henderson going to an up-and-coming New England Patriots team with Drake May going into year 2. New head coach in Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel turned, Derrick Henry was talented as hell regardless, but Mike Vrabel used Derrick Henry perfectly, and hopefully he's got his Derrick Henry 2.0. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, I forgot about that. Mike Vrabel was an Ohio State Buckeye, and he drafts an Ohio State Buckeye with his second pick as the head coach of the New England Patriots. Good pick there for them, though. And I forgot, they got Will Campbell in the first round, too. So they have second-year quarterback Drake May. They signed Stephon Diggs. They have Hunter Henry, who I'm not a huge fan of personally. Now they have TreVeyon Henderson, and they've got Will Campbell, left tackle. They are really solidifying that offense. The Patriots are having a great couple of years, even though it's with 2 different regimes. But Mike Vrabel is building that team to what he wants to be the new Patriot way in the shadows of Bill Belichick. And we're just going to pretend Gerard Mayo didn't exist as the head coach because they fired him after 1 year. Because the Patriots had the number 1 overall pick in their hands, and they went out and won the last game of the season to then move to 4, which is a franchise-altering win. The Raiders did the same thing. The Raiders were a team that were projected to have a top 5 pick, and they won a couple meaningless games at the end of the season, and then they ended up at 6. May not seem like much, but moving 3 or 4 picks back in a draft could mean the difference between getting a franchise-changing player and just a guy. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, the Raiders ended up getting Ashton Genty, that guy, that Bears fan has no teeth. That's kind of funny. The Bears are on the clock. They drafted Colston Loveland yesterday, the tight end out of Michigan. They need some weapons for Caleb Williams. There were some rumors that they were going to try to trade up to pick number 5 yesterday once the Browns got it because they wanted to take Ashton Genty. Must have been too high of an asking price because they did not trade. But running backs are kind of on a move right now. You just lost TreVeyon Henderson. You just lost Quinshon Judkins. Do they draft Caleb Johnson? running back out of Iowa here, or do they just stick to their board and go for best player available? We'll see what's available. Like, I don't even think he's up there for. Yeah, he's not even on Daniel Jeremiah's best available. I wasn't sure where he'd be. He seems to me he's a late second, early third round pick. But we'll see. They could use they already drafted a tight end, so they're good there. They could use some help. I mean, obviously, defensive help is always there. Wide receiver is a good pick for them. They could go with Luther Burden. I don't believe they have. They don't have Keenan Allen anymore. They brought him in last year. They still have DJ Moore, but they don't have Keenan Allen anymore, so they could definitely use a wide receiver. And yeah, Josh McDaniels is back with the Patriots, so they're building that offense. Josh McDaniels sucks everywhere else but New England. It's very weird. He has taken so many jobs in other states and on other teams and has just failed miserably. So he knows where the bread is buttered, if you will.
So, Justin, what do you think about the secondary cornerbacks?
For
us, or anything good
in the draft?
Third round? Yeah, third round.
Oh, no, for sure. There's a ton of cornerbacks. I have a lot of guys listed. I'll go through a few of them right now. I have a list for every round, Mike. I do my homework here. So we've got in round 3, Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State University is a guy to keep an eye on. You get to round 4, nobody there really caught my attention. I got a couple here in round 6. Caleb Ransaw out of Tulane. Jordan Hancock out of Ohio State is a guy to keep an eye on. And then I had some 6th, 7th round guys, but of course we don't have a 7th round pick anymore. But Jason Marshall out of Florida, somebody to look out for. Katan Crawford, the safety out of Nevada. It's a deep secondary draft, but
That's good, 'cause we need
there will be some guys there.
one or two.
The 2025 NFC North champions, Chicago Bears.
There he is, Luther Burden. I assumed they'd go wide receiver there to fill the gap of Keenan Allen, and sure enough, they took Luther Burden, the slot receiver out of Missouri. Good pick for them. They're giving Caleb Williams a weapon. As you guys know, I'm not a huge Caleb Williams fan. I think Caleb Williams is an okay quarterback. I don't think he's a game-changing franchise QB, but they're trying. His comparison is DJ Moore, and he's going to play with DJ Moore. So if you can't win with 2 DJ Moores on your team, shame on you. And he has Cole Kmet, who they signed to a long-term deal a couple years ago. He just got Colston Loveland. They are giving him, I believe they traded for some offensive linemen in the offseason. They made a lot of moves for the offensive line. Well, I know they did in Chicago. They're doing everything in their power. Now that they're under Ben Johnson, new head coach. He's an offensive-minded guy. They're doing everything they can to make Caleb Williams succeed there. So, A for effort. They are going for it. They're loading up that offense to win in Chicago, and we'll see how that goes.
No doubt about it. It's time now for a player comparison presented by Homes.com. We've done your homework.
Sanders is going to be getting upset.
Could see Shedeur Sanders go here, truthfully. The New Orleans Saints need a quarterback. Is Paul on here? I'm not seeing his comment. I'm sorry. I'm not doing invites tonight, Paul. If you were going to hop on with me, I'm about to be done here. I'm only staying on for the Jets pick, and then I'm calling it a night. I'm going to sit here and hang out with my father-in-law. We're going to eat some popcorn, have some drinks. If I start to get a little tired, I've got my unofficial sponsor, my energy pouches from Get Grinds. I emailed them to be an ambassador for their product, and they said they are not accepting ambassador applications at the moment, but they will let me know. The New Orleans Saints do need a quarterback, though. Derek Carr is projected to miss the whole season. They only have Spencer Rattler on their roster, and he sucks. So they need a quarterback. A lot of people were trying to force Shedeur Sanders to them at pick number 9, but they took Kelvin Banks, the offensive lineman out of Texas. They're talking about Derek Carr. Derek Carr is expected to miss most of 2024. Paul, what's up? I see you in the comments there. I appreciate you coming on last night, man. I hope you had fun. I had a good time. I'm glad you were with us. And again, tonight, I'm not sending out the link. I'm about to be done here in 2 picks. As soon as the Jets pick, I'm going to make fun of them for a minute, and then I'm going to call it a night. And I'm going to dual screen. I've got NBA playoffs down here on my right on my one TV. The big TV has the draft going. I got an Aperol Spritz in my hand. I got my father-in-law. We're drinking Miller Lights. We're having a great time eating popcorn. So Thank you guys for tuning in with us tonight. But we'll see what happens. Tyler Shuck is a guy that they are trying to give to New Orleans. He's 26 years old. He's Brandon Weeden 2.0. He missed a ton of time in Louisville. He never played a full season in his college career. He's always hurt. He's, again, old as shit. 26 in the NFL is you're a grandfather at that age in the NFL. To be a rookie at 26, that's crazy. I'm better than Rattler. You honestly, Robert, I would take you over Rattler. I remember one of the games was a Monday Night Football game. The Saints started Rattler, and I took a couple bets, and they were awful. It was the worst football I'd ever watched. Spencer Rattler is trash. It is Tyler Shuck. That's the rumor. Tyler Shuck is the pick here, is the rumor for the New Orleans Saints. A 26-year-old rookie out of Louisville who could not stay healthy, and there it is. The Saints were on the clock, and they took Tyler Shuck. Oh, my God. Tyler Shuck went over Shedeur Sanders. That tells you everything.
What the shook?
Yeah, what the shook are they thinking in New Orleans? I don't get it. They must be drinking that flood water from Katrina because they are not thinking straight. This is not a good pick. I don't get it. Oh, my goodness. Tyler Shuck, the 26-year-old rookie. He is almost the same age as Derek Carr, who is their current veteran who's been in the NFL for 10 years. What a bad pick.
What's that say more about Sanders?
To me, the thing for Sanders, in my personal opinion, Sanders fucked up by not being humble. Shedeur Sanders came out and acted like, I'm the best there is, I'm the best there was, and I'm the best you're ever going to see, and did not play at that level. They won nothing in Colorado. They struggled against good teams. He does nothing special. He broke no records for college football. He did nothing great, and then still comes out and tells everybody, I'm the best. You're going to regret not drafting me. When they do interviews with him, they ask him, who do you think is the best football player of all time? Oh, it's my dad. Who's the best rapper of all time? Oh, it's my brother. Everything is about the Sanders. They're so conceited and cocky and in the media and in your face, and I don't get it. If you act a little humble, and if you maybe do your pre-draft interviews and you tell teams like, hey, I'm willing to do whatever, I want to learn. If you want me to sit for a little bit, I'll sit. I want to have a great NFL career and be a great player. But instead he's coming out saying, no, I'm the best. You're going to regret not taking me. They're holding this huge flamboyant party. He's a big boy. He can't stay healthy. He had durability issues. He's never played a full season in college football. He's 25 and a half years old right now. He'll be 26 when the season starts. I don't know. Not for me.
He's got a lot of practice in there.
But yeah, Shedeur Sanders. I think that's why he's falling down the list. It's because of his attitude and the way his family acts. When you're an average player, you need to be ready to learn and ready to sit and not be you're not going to be the face of the franchise day one.
Is that sort of like LeBron's son?
Well, I'll give credit to LeBron's son. You don't hear him say anything. He goes to the team. He does what he's asked to do. They make him sit on the bench, and then he goes and plays in the G League, and he dominates. He scores 30 points a night in the G League, and then when the Lakers want him to sit on the bench, he goes and sits there. He doesn't say a word. Shedeur Sanders, always in the media. LeBron's kid just sits there and goes, hey, I know I'm a project. I'll sit here. I'm going to learn. Thank you for every minute you give me on the floor. He's a grateful kid. He had that heart injury or that damn near heart attack, basically. Oh, shit, there's a trade. The Bills are now on the clock. They traded with the Jets, I think. Because the Jets are still showing next, so unless they traded. Good night, third round later. See you, Paul. Have a great one, man. I'm going to watch this next pick. If the Jets traded, I'll probably be wrapping it up. But, I'm going to watch the third round. I'll watch every pick, but I am going to log off. I had fun, though, doing this. Again, if I didn't have the power issue yesterday, it would have been really cool to do the entire first round and to talk with you guys about the trade when it happened live, with the pick of Mason Graham when it happened live. I would have loved to have done that. But obviously, technical difficulties, not much I can do about it. And then next week, I believe Wednesday, we're shooting for doing an episode with the group with Kyle, and we'll break down all the picks and stuff like that. We have a trade. Yeah, I think it's Buffalo on the clock for New York, I think. But it's still showing New York, so maybe they traded up ahead of New York. I wasn't paying attention to the draft order, if I'm being honest. So we'll see. Yeah, Paul, if I don't talk to you soon, man, have a great vacation. I know you said you're getting ready to head out on a vacation, so have fun, man. Yeah, the video chat format was good. Kyle was busy tonight. I'm just doing this solo. And again, I only wanted to do like the first like 10 picks just for catching up from yesterday because I missed because of the power outage. So just doing a quick rundown on everything. Got the Browns 2 picks in, linebacker out of UCLA and the running back out of Ohio State. Loading up, doing what they can. And then, yeah, Tyler Shuck. Oh, my goodness. Still can't get over that. Oh, shucks. Okay, so the Bears were on the clock. The Bears have traded out. So number 41 went to the Bills, and 42 will be the Jets. So we will stick with that. I'll toast one from you with Clearwater. Hey, man, cheers. I got my Aperol Spritz right here, man. Enjoy it. Have a couple for me. Yep, Bears were picking here at 41. They traded out for the Buffalo Bills. And we'll see. The pick is in. Let's see if I get anything here. The Browns are doing a live interview with Catherine Hickman. She's one of their player development, whatever, heads or something. I don't know her exact role. She's actually a very bright mind from what I've heard. She is potentially a future, could be the first female GM in NFL history. But right now she is an understudy to Andrew Berry. I like Andrew Berry. I just told my friends, because we were talking here, we're texting, I was texting with my group about the Browns draft, and we are making picks that do not go along with what the Browns have done for the last 5 years. So that makes me believe, and I've always been under the impression that Paul DePodesta, who I've gone on record as saying I hate, he's in the final year of his contract. He was the only guy to not get a contract extension when they extended Stefanski and Berry last season. So makes me think he's on his way out, which makes me think maybe, just maybe, this is the first year they've told Andrew Berry, you're in charge. We're not, Paul DePodesta is not going to step on your toes because Mason Graham was not a normal pick that Andrew Berry, I take that back. I won't say Andrew Berry. He wasn't a normal pick the Browns would have made 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Schlesinger, not a pick that we would have taken. A linebacker in the second round that's not an athletic kind of guy like JOK, because JOK was a late second-round pick. Remember, the year that we took JOK, that was the same year we took Greg Newsome. That was the year the draft was in Cleveland. The Browns were coming off a playoff appearance, so the Browns were picking in the 20s. Number 33 to take a linebacker is extremely high for the way the Browns had drafted. And his age, he was over 22 years old, not a fit for their normal draft pick. And then on the flip side, you go with a guy like Quinshon Judkins. Running backs had not been highly coveted, nor were linebackers. So it makes me think this is the first year Andrew Berry is finally able to have his own draft. And, I mean, knock on wood, it's early. I'm speculating, but I love what they're doing. I love every pick so far. They are needs. They are immediate day one starters. And they are highly coveted players. So here we go. The Bills have made the selection. Lee Evans is reading it right now. And then the New York Shitty Jets are picking next. And we get to laugh at their pick, and then I get to log off. TJ Sanders, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. I had him for a guy for the Browns in the later rounds. Would have fit. You know, good defensive tackle. Good for them. They needed some defensive help. I had him here as a third-round guy for the Browns. TJ Sanders, defensive tackle, South Carolina. Had him on my list for the third round, but Bills apparently liked him a little bit more than that. They came up and got him here in the second. Obviously, we don't need him because we have Michael Hall. We signed a couple guys, Malik Collins, in the offseason to play defensive tackle. We have, obviously, now Mason Graham. Defensive tackle is not a position the Browns are going to be taking. So he clearly wasn't going to be somebody we were looking for. I didn't bother to reset my board in my app overnight. I should have, but I didn't. Mainly because I didn't know who the hell they were going to take, and I'm glad I didn't reset it because Judkins was on my list, but I wasn't really confident they'd take a running back. And then Schlesinger was a guy I did not expect them to take ever. I liked him, but I had linebackers as a player. A position that we would be taking on day 3, not on day 2.
the Jets would probably take Sanders. There you go.
I mean,
I could see it.
They did just
Flash, hey.
they just signed Justin Fields to a 2-year, like $90 million contract in the offseason. Justin Fields is like 26 years old or something like that. He's still relatively young. Do I think he's a future franchise quarterback for any team, especially the Jets? Hell no. But the Jets did just hire Aaron Glenn as their head coach. With the first pick, they took an offensive tackle. I feel like Aaron Glenn is a defensive coordinator. He was the defensive coordinator in Detroit. He's now the head coach of the Jets. I feel like he's going to go defense here. He wants to help their defense and wants to make that. That's his prime area of expertise. So gun to my head, I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know what they need off the top of my head. They have some young defensive ends. They drafted Will McDonald a couple years ago. They drafted James Johnson or whatever his name is. A couple years ago, they have clearly Sauce Gardner at corner. They have Quinnen Williams at defensive tackle. So they could use some things. They could use a linebacker. They could probably use a safety, maybe even another corner, depending on who's available. But I would not be surprised if they go defense here, just because it's Aaron Glenn. You played football against Lee Evans in high school. No shit. Yeah, Lee Evans is a local kid. He's from Cleveland. I think he went to – did he go to Glenville? I forgot what high school he went to. I know he's local. But that's crazy, Robert. That's actually a wild story. I love hearing about people that were like, oh, yeah, in high school I faced this dude, whether it's NBA, whatever. Jets took Mason Taylor, the tight end, out of LSU. Damn it. He's a guy that I really liked. I wanted the Browns to take, but that's a good pick for them if that's who it is. Let me see if it's official. Yep, the Jets are taking tight end Mason Taylor. Good pick. But, I mean, Justin Fields sucks, so they have a good tight end, but they don't have a quarterback to give him the ball, so no one to pass to, though. I'm texting my Jets friends right now. They said Mason Taylor. I said good pick, but no one to pass him the ball. No one to pass him the ball. Fields sucks. Glenn will be fired in 2 years. Will be fired in 2 years. Jets are ass, is what I'm sending them right there. Boom. He went to Bedford. That's right. I knew he was local. Couldn't remember what school. I just assume if you're an NFL player from Cleveland, there's like a 99% chance you played at Glenville. And yeah, I'm sure he kicked your ass, Robert. There's a reason he went pro. The guy's pretty good. Let's see. Mason Taylor. Yeah, Eds, Ignatius, or Glenville are your top three choices, pretty much.
The Saints or Glenville.
Let's check in on the track cards presented by Goodyear. Look at that picture that we're sending back to you from Wisconsin right now.
My other buddy Mike is texting me separately. He said Mason Taylor, baby. He's excited. I said great pick. Really liked him for the Browns. Too bad you have Justin Fields at quarterback, though. Always put a little salt on the wound. That's what I like to do.
And Anthony Richardson, they have done a ton of quarterback work. And then number 48, you have the Las Vegas Raiders. So they traded back in the round. They are still considering Shedeur Sanders.
Sure, they're considering.
They're trying so hard on every channel.
They're considering that. Oh, the Oakland Raiders are considering.
They do choose after the Colts, so the Rams are 46.
Him and Chris Chambers were dogs. Yeah, Chris Chambers, too. I forgot about him. Damn. Northeast Ohio has produced some really good talent.
Yeah, they have. Football.
On the clock, the Niners have selected as well. So there's a couple of picks to get to. And so I guess there's like Flames.
All right, well, that's going to do it for me, everybody. I want to log off and then sit back and enjoy this weekend and sit back and enjoy the draft as my first willingly staying at home year. I've gone to every draft since 2005 except for 2020 because of COVID. There was no draft, so nothing I could do. And then in 2023, I went to Disney willingly. because that was a vacation still. This is the first year I've ever sat at home and watched the draft in 20 years. So I am going to log off of here. I appreciate you guys for checking in. Robert, thank you for being in the comments there and chatting it up. Go Browns. We still have 2 more picks tonight as of right now, unless they trade or make anything changed, or if anything changes. And then tomorrow they have another, I believe, 4 picks. I think we have 2 in the 4th and 2 in the 5th. And then actually we have more than that because we have 4th-round picks, we have 5th-round picks, and we have I think we still have 2 6th-round picks even after that trade with Houston. So more picks than I even thought of. So I think we have another 6 picks tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they trade a couple to move up. Maybe they trade a couple to get out. We'll see. But we will have all of this recapped, every player, next Wednesday. I'm talking about balls from 7 to 9. And we'll talk about it all. We'll recap the NBA playoffs, let you know hopefully the Cavs are done with the Heat by then, and we'll go from there. So thank you, everybody, for checking everything out this weekend. I apologize for the power outage issue yesterday. We wanted to go live from pick number 1 till the end of the night, but do what you can. Not much I could have done about it. So we will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great night. Go Browns. See you guys.